Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal beaten Bodo 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium in game number 2 of the Europa League. And that was again very, very good in the first half. That was a very good performance. One thing I'm going to say in this one, guys, Fabio Vieira has finally arrived. Yes, we thought he was going to be good. We thought he was going to be exceptional, but we didn't know when he was going to arrive in this game. He was very exceptional. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast. Let's get this video to 300 likes. In the comment section, let's vote for man of the match as usually we do in the initial match reaction. I have 4 candidates as well. Fabio Vieira, Rob Holding, Kieran Tierney and Edin Ketia, 4 candidates for man of the match. I think these are the players that actually stood out in this game. Fabio Vieira with an assist and a goal as well. Rob Holding, I think a goal, obviously. I mean, you don't expect him to score in every game, but he was very, very good defensively. I saw him a lot of the time, especially with that little quality that Bodo were actually showing up. He had a very, very fantastic game. Kieran Tierney, what a strike in the first half, and he kept on getting into those areas, getting himself into those areas. He probably should have scored in this game, in my opinion, but again, he's adapting slowly but surely to that new role that has been introduced by Mikel Arteta and Alexander Zinchenko. Edin Ketia continues to score in every Arsenal game that he starts. It is impressive. It is good. I think we are about to say sorry to Edin Ketia and Granit Xhaka, and we have to say, Mikel Arteta, you got it right. So in the comment section, who was your man of the match? I hope I've not left out any exceptional performances. We'll talk about the players tomorrow in the live reaction. But I think that is all when it comes to man of the match. Now, this one again, another easy performance for me, guys. I said it in the preview. Arsenal are really going to ease this one. Yes, Bodo do have that quality, and when I talk about quality, we have seen it. 51% ball possession for Bodo in this game. Most of you will not actually believe the statistics I'm looking at here. They had 51% ball possession, more than Arsenal. They had 488 touches in this game as compared to Arsenal's 463. So they had more touches in the game. They had a bigger part of possession in the game as well, and they had some quite decent shots on goal. 4 shots on target, 8 shots overall. But what I said in the preview was, do they have the quality to come and challenge Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium? They might have that quality. They might be that good. They play in a 4-3-3, and I said they're very, very brave. We've seen all that. But the big question they had to answer, can you come at the Emirates Stadium and challenge the best team in the world right now? And for me, the answer was no. They couldn't actually do it. If you remember my prediction, 3-1. They let me down. They should have scored. I mean, Matana could have considered a goal, but they decided not to score, and eventually Arsenal won this game 3-1. Now, there's so many things I love about the performance. First and foremost, the dominance in the first half. Arsenal never allowed Bodo to get out. Arsenal never allowed Bodo to, have possession. All of this possession that we are looking at here comes into the second half. In the second half, we got absolute trash, and we'll talk about that. But in the first half, I think this was Mikel Arteta's plan initially. Come in the first half, freeze them out, and win the game convincingly. By first half, it should have been 3-0. It should have been 4-0. Kieran Tierney should have scored. Fabio Vieira should have scored. Marquinhos should have scored. Edin Ketia should have scored another. And Gabriel Martinelli as well should have scored. So we missed around 7 big chances in this game, in the first half only. And I thought that is where I thought we were lacking in this game, finishing off the chances that we were creating. I thought Fabio Vieira was flamboyant throughout this game. I thought it was so good. I'm going to talk about him. So I loved the first half performance. It is one that takes away pressure from you. It's one that just allows you play the game you want. When we scored the second goal, it was all over. Bodo saw it was gonna be a long way to come back in this game, and I loved their manager, and I loved them as a team. I was really impressed when they conceded the second goal. They didn't come out in numbers to try and find an equalizer, or try to find a goal back. They sat in shape. They realized if you come out right now, Arsenal is going to demolish you in the first half. And that's why I said it could have been 4, it could have been 5 in the first half. But they sat back, they sat in shape, they were very, very patient, and they were very, very, brave in my opinion. But let's talk about Fabio Vieira in this game, because he has arrived. We said he's a little magician. We said he's going to be a brilliant, brilliant boy at Arsenal. 40 million euros. You can definitely see what he's all about. And I said it in the first game, in the reaction to the first game against Zurich. Don't play him as a number 10. Don't restrict him. Don't limit him as a number 10. You're not going to get the best out of him. Let him do his thing. Let him run. Let him pick up the passes. And let him take the shots the way he wants him. It's just like Fabio. It's just like Bernardo Silva. It's just like Bernardo Silva. The more room you allow them to roam into, the more the more liberty you give them, the better they become. How many shots did he have on goal today, Fabio Vieira? Apart from the goal, I think he kept on trying and trying and trying. In my opinion, it's unfortunate that he doesn't score on the first attempt. It's very unfortunate that he doesn't score on the second attempt as well. But he's a very different hybrid. He's a very different caliber of a player at Arsenal, and it definitely provides something so different from Martin Odegaard. And I've looked at a couple of Arsenal fans judging him from using the lens that they would use to judge Martin Odegaard. They're different. They're very, very different players. You see, the amount of shots Fabio Vieira has in a game, Martin Odegaard doesn't average those shots. And the amount of key passes that Odegaard has in a game, Fabio Vieira doesn't average those passes. And that is where they're different. Odegaard is all about his selfless game, his selfless, structure, trying to create chances, trying to, release someone all the time. Fabio Vieira is a good number 10, loves to create chances, will pick out a very, very good pass like he gave Rob Holding today. It was magnificent, and I thought Rob Holding dealt with that situation very, very well. But then also, Fabio Vieira is all about making things happen. He will have a shot, he will try to score every opportunity he gets. And that's why I'm saying, guys, he has arrived. There is no game we've seen Fabio Vieira lively from minute 1 to minute 90. Right? Apart from this one, he was everywhere. He was, look, one of the key characteristics of a good midfielder, can you lose your markers? Can you get out of the traffic, come in space and receive the ball? That is one of the key characteristics of a good attacking midfielder. And we've seen that today. Whenever Arsenal were in possession, he was holding, he was raising his hands high, asking for the ball. And whenever we were in a transition, he had a hand. He was either running with the ball or he was either running off the ball. I love the connection between him and Edin Ketia. I love the connection between him and McKenna. He's going to become that new, breed, that new kind of midfielder that Arsenal have not had. One that can come on in the 70th minute and change the game. Because for me, if he continues taking those shots, if he continues taking those, striking those balls outside the penalty area, he's going to be a very, very good midfielder. So I was praying, can he come around before the World Cup? Because there is some little pressure on him. Yeah, he's not actually coming around. He has arrived. Very, very good performance. Now, let's talk about our performance in the second half. I am disgusted. We'll talk about the other performances later on. But the second half is disgusting. The second half performance is absolutely shite. It is absolutely embarrassing. And we should be embarrassed with that. That is what creates these numbers. 51% ball possession for Bodo at the Emirates. That should not be allowed because we're going to play the likes of Liverpool. We're going to play the likes of Manchester City. We're going to play the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers. All these are possession-based teams. And what you have to do is you have to dominate them right from minute 1 at half time and also in the second half. I thought in the second half we let it loose. I thought in the second half we let our guard down, and that is where most of their good chances were created. That is where most of their good performance actually came from. So the second half, I don't know what came over us. Lokonga became anonymous. Our midfield, Xhaka and Lokonga, became anonymous. They were literally walking through it. And of course, look, I talked about Vesosen. I talked about Saltness. I talked about all these boys, the likes of Pellegrino and the others, and Espejad. And I said they've got that quality. They work together. They're brave. They play 4-3-3, which allows them to just have that dominance in games, but not at the Emirates Stadium. And this is my point. not at the Emirates Stadium. However much people want to tell me because we had won the game, this and that, that should not be allowed to happen at the Emirates Stadium. You know, you can have these poor performances, you can have those poor performances away from home. It is understandable. But in front of our fans, in front of the Gunners, in front of the best fan base in the world, that should not be allowed to happen. We cannot allow them have those many chances. We cannot allow them have dominate the ball just like that. If you want to keep it boring, if you're about game management, I have no problem. I have no problem with the manager saying we're going into game management mode right about now. Got no problems with that. But we are not going into game management, right? We're not going into game management without the ball. We're not going into game management while we allow the opponent run with the ball around, have possession, and all that. So the second half, guys, was shambolic. It was absolutely shambolic, and we need to work on that. These are games. Why I love these Europa League games, especially in the group stages, they allow you create consistency, they allow you create confidence, but they also kind of that a little bit of an upgraded practice. I mean, with all due respect, it seemed like practice, right? So they're that kind of upgraded difficulty in practice. How you knock the ball around, the connections you have around the pitch, the passing patterns, how you create your overloads, how you create your superiorities, how you press high up the pitch when you lose the ball, and all that, your recoveries and everything. I didn't see that in the second half. It looked like Arsenal were either so contented that we had won the game, or we just lost the instructions that the manager gave us. The moment we looked at the instructions right in the dressing room, we dropped them there and then. That is unacceptable. And I'll say it again, that is unacceptable, especially as you go into the Liverpool game. You want to be dominant 100%. You want to create a message. You want to send out a message to Liverpool that, hey, this is what we are all about. This is what Arsenal is all about. And don't joke with us. Because Liverpool, they'll have their moments at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. They'll have their moments. They'll have spells where they create chances. They'll have spells where they're on the ball. How do you react to that? If we beat Liverpool 2-0 at halftime, are we going to play like this? I bet we actually not going to do. But overall, guys, it was a good performance. I like the way we put the game to bed. That is one thing we've always talked about. Put the games to bed. When you score a first goal, score a second, and that takes the game away from the grasp of the opponent. And as they try to get one back or grab an equalizer, you can score a third and actually kill off the game. That is what we've done. A few mentions. One, Kieran Tierney. I'll give Kieran Tierney a mention. That was a wonder strike, wasn't it? That's a good strike. And he's slightly and slowly adapting to the new inverted role. Look, as a player, that is what you're supposed to do. That is what players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles have failed to do. When a manager comes in and highlights how you're supposed to play and dictates the kind of role you're going to serve in the team, you've got to listen and you've got to adapt. And that is what Kieran Tierney has done. You can see he's not crossing the ball a lot of the time. He's not going wide a lot of the time, but the ball is finding him at the edge of the penalty area as he arrives. And literally what he's doing there is, he has a shot on goal. He can, create those sloppy, slippery passes into the penalty area and do that. So I thought Kieran Tierney's role is fitting in slowly. I think it's going to take some time, but he deserves the mention. Rob Holding deserves the mention for the goal. Beautiful goal. Beautiful, beautiful goal. Now, there was a little push there, and that is what makes you stand out as a player, right? You overpower your opponent, you overpower your marker, you create chance, you create space for yourself. The ball in itself from Fabio Vieira is absolutely sweet, and Rob Holding's header is absolutely spot on. So I thought he deserved the mention. Eddie Nketiah scored again. In another Europa League game. Of course, he scored in the first game and created an assist. In this one, again, I thought he was brilliant. His pressing. He is so relentless. He's very, very relentless. Actually, I think he's learning a lot from Gabriel Jesus. We should talk about that probably later. But he's learning a lot from Gabriel Jesus. You can see the way he's creating nightmares for defenders. He's becoming another nightmare of a striker. Probably he doesn't turn out to be like Danny Welbeck. And if he can jump that step of the Danny Welbecks, because again, Welbeck is a world-class presser. Welbeck is a world-class guy when it comes to working the channels. But his finishing is what makes him a trash striker. But Eddie's scoring rate is becoming better. You look at the chance that he has actually scored in this game. His awareness and positioning is better than that of Gabriel Jesus. His positioning is better than that of Gabriel Jesus as a center forward. Because with Gabriel Jesus, I don't think he taps in that chance. He might not be there, right? But Eddie Nketiah, whenever the ball is in the penalty area, Eddie is always in the penalty area. So I thought he deserves a mention as well. Marquinhos, my boy, deserves a mention. I mean, not the flary Marquinhos that we would have wanted to see. But again, a decent performance. I don't think he was sloppy. I don't think he was reckless, and I don't think he was wasteful. And whenever we needed to play that ball out wide, stretch the pitch and stretch their defense as much as we could, he was always in the right area at the right time. He doesn't lose the ball. I love that boy. Martinelli also deserves the mention. Had a very good game, by the way. I had a very, very good game. He's not actually pulling off those mojos in the Europa League. I think he's focusing more on the Premier League. But I thought those are the decent mentions that we should have talked about. So in the comment section, let me know who was your man of the match. I'll speak to you in the player ratings shortly.